Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Live at 12:05 here at the Isle of Wight County Museum. My name is Rachel Popp and I'm the curator here. Tonight we wanted to focus a little bit on identifying your photographs. This is incredibly important. A lot of times people end up passing down photos that we unfortunately over time end up losing kind of the identities of who some of these people are, forget who some of the identities are, or sometimes have a little bit of trouble remembering who exactly that is in the photo. And so it's really important that we end up taking the time to sit down with family members and try to identify who's in our photos. Typically that means just flipping it over and with a nice little pencil very lightly identifying any information that you have, whether it's the time period, date, family function, anything like that that you can include as far as that information goes. And that is typically what we're including along with our different artifacts and photographs and archives here with all of the different files in the Isle of Wight County Museum as well. We always want that story that goes with that item, that photo, and try to include as much information as we can so that that gets passed along through history as well. And we see how important that is here tonight with our partnership with the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation. They've brought in some of the examples, especially the photos that are from here in Isle of Wight County and Smithfield from the Albert Durant photography collection.
He was the first city licensed black photographer in Williamsburg. His primary occupation was working as a chauffeur, but he was a photographer on the side, and so city residents remember him being everywhere with his camera. And we brought these ID notebooks that have copies of some of the photographs, and we've already been able to receive quite a few IDs from community members. So we are going to make duplicate copies of these and bring them back to the Isle of Wight County Museum so that community members can look at them here at the museum, or they can check them out and take them out to the community and reminisce with friends and hopefully help us obtain more identifications. Sometimes he came over to Isle of Wight County, and so there's a segment of the collection that includes photographs of Smithfield and student activities at Isle of Wight County Training School.
I strongly suggest, if you didn't have the opportunity to join us at the Isle of Wight County Museum for this particular event, that you do take the time to reach out to the Isle of Wight County Museum or the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation if you think that you might be able to help identify some of the people in the photos.
All of the negatives in the Albert Durant collection were recently conserved and digitized, and so now we're getting ready to put them online, and we would love to have accurate identifications for the images.
I also wanted to add that I thought it was really interesting with this particular collection that it actually was found at a garage sale, and that's ultimately how they end up getting this particular collection. Before you put those photos of different interesting events, buildings, all kinds of things here in Smithfield and Isle of Wight County into the garage sale, definitely feel free to contact the Isle of Wight County Museum and see if we have any interest or any information regarding the different family photos that you might have, because we are very interested and we're always happy to take scans of things too if you're not quite ready to part with those photographs. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Live at 12:05, and we will see you next Thursday for another episode.